Good.
You sounded like the movie phone voice.
Hello!
Welcome to Movie Phone.
So one of the most interesting things about FP is, he's got this duality where he has this rough serpent past, but now he's really leaning into the lawman aspect.
Right, yeah.
So what can you give us a hint about this battle between these two sides of his personality, and what will we see of that in the fourth season?
Well, I guess the most, with the symbolic, when I met with Wardrobe about the coat, the police jacket, I said to them, this isn't a guy who trained as a cop. This is a gang member who just put these clothes on. And inside this part of the coat is a serpent's patch that they sewed in there. And I haven't found a way to show it organically in a scene yet, but it's there. And I think that's the best sort of metaphor of FP is he's just wearing this right now.
Right.
And it serves a purpose, but it's not him.
Okay.
So I think we're going to start peeling that away a little bit.
Okay.
And I think the same thing of the 9 to 5er of it, the family life is not in his nature.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see how that, or if it happens. But I suspect it will through this season. We'll start to really see the tears of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any characters that you're looking forward to having a scene with that you don't get to interact with a lot in previous seasons?
I have a lot more with KJ this season. I think out of FP's desire to step in for Fred's loss, and so that's great. I love KJ, and it's fun to get to do more with him. I've never really had a scene with Cheryl, and I think that would be fun to see what that would be. But yeah, Archie has really been sort of the thrust of the beginning of the season for FP.
And what's your relationship with Jughead this season?
It's interesting. I mean, he's FP's the eternal. He's trying to be a good dad and help him make good decisions, and ultimately, Jughead goes off to private school based on his dad's urgings, and then other things start to develop, and that sort of tear at them a little bit. Some of Jughead's investigative nature start to peel away at FP's past, and that doesn't sit well.
And Jellybean?
Jellybean hasn't been around much, to be honest.
Oh.
And I don't necessarily know why, other than it's just such a massive story to tell, and it's hard to weave everybody into everything.
Yeah.
So we've had some, and she definitely is a lot like FP. There are some things that she does already in the season that you see who her dad is. So.
What do you think the FP-Alice relationship has resonated with people so much, and where do you want to see it go?
Yeah, I know, that's an interesting. I guess because of a certain age demographic, it's akin to Bughead or anything. It's my generation's Bughead, if you will, in terms of the show's fandom. I don't know. There's just a spark between her and I. She's just fun to be around. She enjoys me. I enjoy her, and it just kind of sizzles in that way. And I like where it's going. I mean, it's definitely rising this season. They are very together, and but more importantly, you get to see the heat, but you also get to see why. What is it that's making that happen? And you start to see that they have each other's back,
right?
And I don't think we really saw that before. We just saw that they were connected, but we didn't really get why.
Right.
And we're starting to get why, which is nice.
So you have this big ensemble cast. Is there one particular person who is worse than others for messing up lines and taking their time over scenes?
Oh my God, you're gonna put me to the fire. I'm not gonna answer that. Yes, there is.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna tell you who. We actually have a game whenever this said person, he or she, we're in a scene together, and the name of the game show is Remember That Line. And if that person heard that, they would know it's them.
I think we have time for one more question.
Well, nostalgia goes in cycles, and so a lot of things from the 90s right now are being given, reboots or stuff like that, or being celebrated again. So any reflections on your role in the original Scream?
Well, I know The Craft is being remade, which is interesting. It's incredible to me how it stood up through so many years. And I do these conventions, a few times a year, and it's amazing how many generations have now really been drawn to that movie. And I guess a bit of it is its irreverence to its own genre. But there was something about Wes, particularly in that film, and the psychology behind it, that I think is just really interesting and captivating. And whodunit is always fun to see, and that one I think had people guessing, up until the end. But it's interesting to see, now like 12, 13, 14-year-olds come to these conventions just riveted by the movie, and yet their parents are there, who were riveted and are my age and riveted then when it came out, and passed that on to their kids. It's who would have guessed, to be honest? Horror was dead at that time. In fact, 2 weeks into filming, Miramax wanted to stop, and it took Kathy Conrad, who produced it, and Wes Craven cutting together the Drew Barrymore sequence at the beginning and showing it to the Weinsteins for them to keep making the film. They wanted to stop. So it was, for us, it was like we had no idea that it would even be successful, let alone last as long as it's lasted and become a franchise. So, those are my reflections.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here.